Hey, this is Stuart back with Stu Balls Gaming. Today we are going to be working on building a Mars rover to go and collect resources that we're going to need here on the Mars surface as space engineers. So, first things first though, let's take a look at our current setup that we have for our station. We've got 3 solar panels, there's a battery over on this side. We have a basic assembler, a basic refinery, an O2 generator, and then our hydrogen engine that we built last time that is currently in the off state just to save on ice because we don't really have an effective way of transporting ice here yet. And so that's one of the things that's going to be fixed today with this new rover that we're going to build. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do though before we get to that part is I need to build a cargo container for this section right here. So if we come in here and look at our inventory of our station, right now our assembler, I just queued some things right before I started in here to get things going, and our limitation is I can't build anything else. If we scroll down here, I could start running into a limitation with our refinery. I don't really have a good place to store a bulk amount of stuff. So we're going to fix that. One of the things though we're going to need, if we queue up a small container on the large block size, you can see it says we need metal grids, which is something that we don't currently have any of. The reason being, if we go over to the production menu, they require cobalt. Well, and here comes another sandstorm. So, in order to have that happen, let's go find some cobalt, which I know previously I marked over here as having some cobalt. So, yep, right here. I said that, oh yep, see 24 meters down. So, we are going to just start drilling away. I'm gonna turn on our lights so we're not drilling in the dark. So cobalt's something that you're gonna need once you start building, you're going into outer space, so your engines and stuff, you're gonna need it for that. Cobalt's a pretty useful resource to have. Like your ion engines, your hydrogen. I know hydrogen requires it, I don't know if ion, I assume ion requires cobalt as well. So it's really important early on in the game for you to kind of target where this cobalt is so you can go mine some of it and not waste your time looking for it all the time. So that's why I marked it previously. I didn't mine any at the time, but we just wanted, for whenever I was ready to, that I would be able to find it fairly easy. Oh, that's some iron right there. Man, maybe this is where I changed that setting and said that we wanted more realistic weather. But, so if I fell all the way down, I would probably hurt myself, so I'm not gonna let myself fall all the way. I don't want to hurt myself more than I already am. And that 93 is just from, my day-to-day running around and stuff, me being careless when I'm flying. You normally just kind of accidentally collide into stuff. Small falls aren't going to damage you, but you don't want to have large falls. And I've got 58 stone. The reason that I go through and I do that is because since my inventory is so limited, you can change that in the settings, but since I'm doing it more on the realistic side of things for everyone else, it means that you end up not being able to carry as much, and so you want to make sure that your trips are as effective as possible. So what's unfortunate is you can see this sand cloud has actually made my solar panels less efficient. So let's see. Let's take a look at our battery. So yeah, it's going to deplete it in 7 hours. I'm assuming this storm won't last 7 hours, but if it does, I will to turn on this hydrogen generator to get things going again. Something I can also do to kind of conserve power is once I get a good stash of this cobalt going, get what I'm gonna need, which if I'm gonna flip this around so then it builds that first. So I'm gonna pull out some of this steel plates. I know I'm gonna need that. Man, this storm's really picking up. So now if I come in here, it should have built some of these. So I think that's all I'm going to need. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to turn off both these for now. There's no point in running them if I don't have to with the limited power. If I come over, I can look at my battery. It's going to recharge in 16 hours, which means that pretty much it's not very good. So at this point, I'm just going to kill off the battery in this a little bit more. You can see I've got 2 days left at my current discharge rate. I can turn my lights off once I get out, though. That'll save a little bit of my power. Okay. So we're gonna build a small container, or yeah, we've got it queued up in there. And if we come through here, I thought I added it, yep, number 6. So this is gonna take interior plates, which hopefully I have some in here, and I don't. So I'm gonna go to this, I'm gonna add some interior plates up. I'm gonna have to turn back on my assembler. But that should hopefully get me a couple of those to at least get this started. Oh, actually, I might have just overlooked them. So we're going to place that. And I'm going to put those back just so that when I press this button, everything comes across the way it should, which that particular port is off because the hydrogen engine is off. So if I come up here, I'm going to select and pull all that in. And as soon as I do this, then everything should shift around if this was really an issue. You know, as you can see, they already moved stuff over, and that's just to ease up the volume requirement of that basic assembler. I can also store things like ores inside of there, or materials, the wafers, or the ingots, or the wafer. So, let's get pressing though. So, I have this, just an iron, or just a block that I placed out here. I haven't done anything else with it. It was off of an experiment I did before I started this recording. So what we're going to do to build this rover is we're going to place a landing gear. That thing's just going to fall down, and it's attached now to this plate. And so since I'm building a small one, and I'm going to kind of build this thing up a little bit, and essentially we're going to build a platform or a way for us to build our rover. And I want to build it this way. Oops. And we're going to have it come out just a little bit over this way. So as you can see, once you place that, the reason I placed that landing gear is I can go from a large block size to a small block size, and then I can have this extend out here, and it works out great. So we're going to queue up some different things here. So we've got a large cargo container on the small block size. I'm going to queue up 2 of those. Those are going to be important. And other things, I'm going to queue up some batteries. I'll start with 2 and kind of see how that goes. And I also need a cockpit. Let's pick up all that stuff. I can actually dump everything I've got in my inventory and pick up, just so I exclusively only pick up what I need, and my inventory is already full. So let's come back over here. I'm going to select this large cargo container. As you can see in the small block variant, we've got 3 of the small conveyor port sizes and 3 of the large. So I'm going to have, the way I'm going to build this is I'm going to have a small one, or a large one and towards the front and a large one towards the back, and so like this. So we're going to have, and then one large out to the side, and we're going to continue that on towards the back. So let's weld these on up real fast. I don't have enough materials. And let's see what other materials I have in my inventory, just try to figure out. It looks like I've got the start of a cockpit, which I've got in 5. And we're just going to mount this straight on the front, just to try to keep it. The goal of when you build these rovers is you want to make sure that the center of gravity is low as possible. This game uses a lot of physics engines, and so you can roll over your rover if you're not careful. Something that I'm noticing I have a shortage of is construction components. So we're going to queue up some of those. I'm just kind of, I don't think I'm going to need 100 of those. We'll just kind of queue up some random stuff here, just to try to ease up production. Just so it's over there working, and then whenever I go to collect stuff, it's already done. So it looks like I don't have everything, but we're going to place some batteries. We'll place one on the side, and we'll place one right over the front of that port. And we're missing, so this is going to be 40 power cells just in between these two. Now do I have, apparently I don't have enough interior plates. I hope this storm passes. I feel bad for all you, my fans, that are sitting there listening to this and having to deal with feeling like you're in a windstorm yourself. I think I'm going to probably need some more interior plates than what I've got queued up. There's 30 of them. That's enough to... So once you go past that functional line, like I talked about before, it's just kind of extra hit points before it stops functioning. So if you like hit something kind of hard, it won't just completely leave you dry and out in the open and stuff. So things like wheels, that's going to be really important that you have those as full of health as you can get, because you don't want to be like hung out in the middle of nowhere without any, if your wheel just stops working, you don't have the stuff to repair it. And most of the time I try to carry stuff around with me so that for whatever reason something happens, I'm able to hopefully fix whatever issue I'm having. And the other alternative is if it's something other than a power cell. Power cells, if you grind them down, you don't get anything from them. But if it's other things, if you need like steel plates and stuff, you can destroy other components on your, or grind them down with your grinder, and that will essentially give you those components. I never realized, must be in a recent update, they made the grinder actually have writing on the grinding mill. It's kind of funny. It looks like it's easing up finally, which is great for my power consumption. As you can see, it just dumped a bunch of stuff inside this other small container to ease up some space in here. And with the number of power cells that it's got, that's understandable. Power cells are really heavy. And so that's something to bear in mind when we start building spacecraft, is you don't necessarily want an excess amount of power cells, because they weigh a ton. It must be lead acid batteries or something, because they're definitely not light by any force aligned. So as you can see, it said that, oh, I didn't have enough bulletproof glass. And on the cockpit, there's an additional section for bulletproof glass. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Oh, it's so quiet. And our solar panels are getting a little bit more efficiency, and eventually they probably should go to the 4. And we should be charging again, which will be great. So at this point,
energy low.
Oh, well, my energy's low, but my base is gonna... We're about power neutral right now. But currently this is off. I'm gonna toggle that back on, and we're gonna be depleted in 4-hour switch. Where the sun's at in the sky, I should be fine for a little bit longer. So since now I've got batteries on here, I can actually climb inside my cockpit here and it will recharge. Downside is it's going to be depleted in 4 days. Whenever you build batteries, they do have an additional initial charge. So just kind of, so you can see there is an actual cockpit here. I think there is mods you can do or some way to set up settings so you can actually have displayed on your consoles. It's kind of cool. I haven't gotten that involved as far as putting displays on your consoles and stuff. You can do like remote blocks and that sort of stuff, and those are fun. Oh, I think I just took off my mask by accident. Oops. So, I'm gonna, since I'm like not the best, I'm gonna heal up real fast. Okay, so next thing that I want to do on this is I would really like to add our structure for our wheels. So the key thing on the structure for your wheels is you want to be as wide and long as possible. You don't want a really short vehicle, otherwise it's easy to roll. Okay, so now that I've kind of got my where I can stick my wheels at and stuff, you can see that I've got it like spaced really long. This just means that when in the future when I add a drill structure on the back here, that it means that I'm not going to, or possibly in the middle here, that I'm not gonna have any problems with the weight distribution. I also went really wide so that I can corner and go around stuff pretty fast, but then on this slope over here, if I'm going sideways across it, there's not a high chance that I can roll. Also because I am fairly, at this point, low to the ground, once I put wheels on it, I should be fine. But now it raises the question, so with the lunar surface the way it is you can, if I get down low, you can kind of see that it's not the most even. There's bumps and stuff. I'm such a long vehicle. One of the experiments that I was running a while before I started this video, you can see it out there. There's bits and pieces of different stuff. I think there's one other piece somewhere off in the distance. But yeah, so you want to make sure that your spacecraft is well off the ground in order to achieve that. So at this point, with all the height that I'm going to be giving to myself, it comes with a trade-off. I can't go around corners as fast. So I'm going to add a couple more down. So that's 4 on down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can't reach it. So that should give me quite a bit of space in order that stuff can pass. You know, a rock can pass in between here and I shouldn't have any issues. There is also suspension settings on the wheels. And I'm going to build a little section for the wheels to mount to. So it's a 4x4 is what it attaches to. Apparently I just dove into the ground too hard. So let's take a look. So if I type in wheel, I don't have all the DLCs unlocked currently, but they've got some different, they're not necessarily any better or worse. They actually are just a skin essentially. But you can see we've got a 1x1, a 5x5, and a 3x3. Those are the three sizes, and then these are replacement wheels that you can have on essentially your wheels. So I want to go with the biggest ones just because the Mars surface, where this is an exploration vehicle, it's not a race one. So I'm going to build, so they come in two variants, left and right. So this is just the bulletproof glass, so I'm going to get rid of that. So, and all the difference between the left and the right is actually literally just the tread of it. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to see if I've got enough to actually get this. What did it say I was missing? So I can add it to the queue. Steel plates, which I had some in my queue initially. We'll just add a couple more. Okay, so 8 is my left side, and since this is my left. So as you can see, this is just looking, so the wheel will go on top of what the direction we're at right now. The right hand side that has kind of that S looking bracket is actually the bottom. So when I come up here, I've got this nice 4x4 platform. As you can see, the L bracket or the S bracket's on the bottom. And I'm going to just mount it right there on it. And this is another left one. And we're going to go to the right side. Yep, that's upside down. That's right side up. And as you can see, after you place the suspension part of it, the wheel itself shows up. Well, this one did. Sometimes if they're going to interfere for whatever reason, they won't show up initially, which could be the issue over on that other side. So to try to make sure this isn't going to be an issue, I'm just going to squat down right here, and I'm just going to clear out some material real fast, just to maybe a little bit more. Yep, that's a pretty big gap. I don't want to go too crazy though, because once I get the wheel on and I drop my Rover down, I want to be able to drive out. I don't want to have to go crazy. Oh, I might just have to add the wheel to it, which this is a 5x5 wheel. Oh, maybe I just need to weld this, I don't know. Well. Let's try to weld these up real fast, and then we'll go try to grab some more stuff. I know I'm going to need some large tubing. Construction components. So let's see if I can add. So you're meant to be able to add these on. Oh, actually, I remember what it is. So let's come back and grab this real fast. When your fuel's low, that's something critical. Yeah, you don't want to deal with, because then you fall out of the sky or you can't get to more fuel. It's kind of a nightmare. So you always want to pay attention. Okay. I don't know why it didn't tell me that I needed some large tubing. The problem with large tubing, and I try to hold off, is each one of these, look, I got 7 already. Like, the size is ridiculous, you know. So I remember though what I need to do. I'll show you real fast. So I've got this one wheel, it's pretty awesome, looks great. So if I come up into this, I'm going to press K and I'm going to, this one currently has a wheel. You press this add wheel button. So if it ever falls off, you can add it again, and then you just have to weld it all up. I am definitely short some construction components. Yep. So let's see if we can get some more of those going. I have quite a few anyways, but so as you can see, the left and the right, the treads are the exact same way, and that's literally the only difference between the left and the right. They, as far as controls and stuff, can be controlled however you want to set it up. I'm not going to go into too much detail about setting it up because the initial setup is actually pretty intuitive and it works pretty well for what we're going to be doing. Awesome. So this is our Mars rover. Something else that I will probably do offline is I need to weld all these up. It just gives it some extra rigidity and strength, so some extra hit points if something were to happen, I don't lose and have everything fall apart. So something else, less, if I can jump at the right time, maybe, whatever, I'll just fly. And I'm gonna cut this off. If I stand right here, I can just cut it off, and you can see it falls, and it's kind of in the hole, which is unfortunate. And it's so high, though, I can drive straight out. It doesn't look like we're touching yet there, but I'll show you some wheel controls. So if I come in here, I'm going to select all these. So we've got our steering wheel if we want to be able to turn tighter. Power, I'm going to leave most of these settings alone for now. It just means how much power you can have to your wheels. You can actually spin your wheels faster than you actually have friction, you know, so if you need additional that. So, but as you can see, if you look on the edges, I'm going up and down. So this is the height offset, and so that's how high off. You can adjust your ride height, speed limit. I'm going to leave all these the same for now. So as you can see now, with that extra, it kind of gives me enough, but it also means that, like, if for whatever reason you the ride height can be adjusted depending on how much weight. So strength is how rigid that is. So I'm going to add some about probably 10% rigidity, just because we need some flex in the wheels in order to corner correctly. As you can see, the wheels are turning. If I zoom out, the back wheels are turning as well. And now we actually have our first craft, though, that we can actually set up some controls on. So I'm going to press, actually I'm going to go back into the K menu, just for now, it's rolling away. And I'm going to set up a group. So, let's see. This is going to be called a group, and then we're just going to call it wheels. Okay, and we're going to go into the G menu, and this looks completely different than what it normally looks like. As you can see here, I've got a wheels group, so if I drag this down, I get a list of options. And you can see we can turn them on, we can turn them off, we can do a safety detach. There's just a lot of settings, and so like if you're setting up your spacecraft to do different things. You can increase your power, you can scroll down, you've got like all sorts of options. Increase friction, click up a button, whatever you want. But the one I'm going to set up for this is our brake. So, as you can see, if I turn on my brake, maybe not, it should stop us rolling back down the hill. Maybe not. Let's see. Sometimes we have to come in here and set up our options. Allow parking brake. Oh, I might have selected the wrong one. So we're gonna go into our groups. Yeah, allow parking brake on or off. Maybe. So we got some holes to drive over. We're gonna park on this hill. I want to be careful going though, because this is gonna incline kind of fast. And I don't want to damage this yet. So I'm gonna press 1 and we'll see if it stops. Nope. So let's go back to the G menu and see if there's something else that I missed. We've got our brakes. Maybe I set up my group wrong. That's always a possibility too. So what we can do, let's just see if we can turn on 1. Oh, well, it's apparently on. On a little slope, it's not bad. But something is not right in here. So let's see. Our strength, offset friction, power, allow parking brake. That's probably it. Oh, actually, we're allowing parking brake. We need to apply parking brake. So we are going to come down here and look. Oh, yeah, I'm being dumb. So when you're driving a vehicle like this, you literally just press park, and parking brake is now engaged if I press W. So if I want to turn that off, I can just press that button. Now we can't park, but I'm going to come up here and I'm going to park right here, and it should be locked up right now. Oh, because I have got it selected, so, and now I'm just chilling on this hill. But Rovers are a really fun way to get around, and they work great. Let's save this real fast, and just in case I do something dumb, they're a really fun way. You know, you can go pretty fast, you can get around. So if I wanted to go mine, I can stick ore detectors on them. So if I needed to, you know, go find some materials, I can. It's just a good way to get around. It's pretty power efficient. So if you can see in the bottom right hand corner, at me driving, I've got 2 days of power left at our current driving. So it's a really good way to get around, and use of power is great. It's way better than flying. Flying costs a lot, and you can actually go pretty fast. So I'm going to adjust this real fast just so you guys can see. We are going to crank that power up because everybody wants to see that, and we're going to crank our speed limit to unlimited. And you know, I'm already going 60, 90, 100. I can hit the limit, and we're going to go for a jump. Boom, and I'm flying, and I don't have any gyros, so let's bail out. And it's still surviving. It's doing a good job. Those wheels, because it keeps on landing on the wheels, they're really robust. If it were landing on this top section, we'd have all sorts of issues. But if we come down here, yeah, they're in good shape. We're good to go. So we'll take this back to base, and that's our first Mars rover that we've got. Turned out to be a pretty good success. Our parking brakes are engaged, so our wheels don't turn. But now I want them. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if we can get some air off this one again. So a good thing to put on this type of thing would be to put on a gyro, because then as it does this, you can actually control so you make sure you land on your wheels, which are pretty useful. Did some damage when I jumped out of my Rover, which I probably should have just stayed in and rode it out, but things explode in this game, so it's better to take your things with a grain of salt. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you have some requests, our next video we're going to be adding a mining apparatus to this Mars rover so that we can collect resources fast and efficient, because once you get into this game a couple hours, you don't want to spend any more time mining stuff than you have to. And if you can go out and mine stuff really efficiently and really fast, that's sweet. And possibly later I will get into showing you how to mine with a remote control, and it'll do it for you. Either way, I hope you have a great day. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.